Well, it wasn't exactly the best one, unfortunately, and the Sharks lose this one in a shootout, but dang it, they could have had one. Oh well. We'll talk about this game, and the Sharks hit the halfway point and a whole bunch of other stuff on the Reverse Retro Night here on Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is Friday night, March 19th, 2021. The Sharks take a loss in the shootout to the St. Louis Blues by a score of 2-1. Welcome to the Reverse Retro Style edition of Teal Town After Dark. We do this after every single game, home and away. We want to be part of the show, Teal together and chat with us and fellow Sharks fans on the page or the app. Follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Of course, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube, SoundCloud, Reddit, and of course, Discord. Thank you, Ian Reed, for putting the Discord link in there so you can join us afterwards. And of course, find everything at tealtownusa.com. Good evening, everyone. Puck Guy and Al Martinet. Al, how are you tonight? And another loss that the Sharks could have gotten 2 points out of.
Yeah, that's been one of the troubling signs of this season, this year actually. Is just
Right.
They've had plenty of opportunities scoring first, but they've never really held on to leads. Currently, the Sharks are about 10 points away from a playoff spot, and they've lost about 8 leads that they could have won. So
That's it.
I mean, hopefully it's not more, but I mean, that's just my quick breaking down the schedule and wins and losses. But at this point of the year, that's 8 points, that the Sharks desperately need, and they're second in the second in the last of the last.
And that's the problem, is that
they needed this game against St. Louis in order to get any talk to. And honestly, another relatively penalty-free game tonight. I mean, I've never seen too many men on the ice. Hella dudes calls. I just think it's.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. I don't think I've ever seen it like that. So
I mean, we saw this with the Vegas game where it was just poor fundamentals leading to Vegas getting more chances. And it's the same deal today. I mean, St. Louis had so many opportunities to shoot the puck. They controlled our neutral zone and they basically controlled all 3 zones.
Yeah.
And then, give St. Louis a lot of credit. They lost one of their big players in the first period. So it seemed like a pretty nasty injury. I'm blanking on his name.
Sundqvist.
Sundqvist, thank you. And that should have. I felt like the Sharks kind of took, its pedal for the most part. They just kind of stopped playing with aggression halfway through the second period when it seemed like they had momentum.
I thought, after once Donato scored, and thank God, I mean, in his first goal in 21 games, I think his last goal was against Colorado in late January to make it 1-0. It's like, okay, these guys can hang on for this victory. They'll be in good shape, and then all of a sudden we can get back into this thing. And then the third period happened, and I thought their third period was lazy. I honestly, that's a tough one on Jones on the shorthanded goal from Tyler Bozak and it's shorthanded, to get, it goes right off the knee and in. I don't know how you can. really get to that one, you know. Uh, and
I
then go ahead.
I thought for a quick second it might have been like a kicking motion, just the way he angled his foot, but maybe you might do a coach's challenge, but you rarely see a challenge on play like that.
Right. And that would be a tough one, and that would also be triggered by Toronto, and when it went off the knee, it not exactly
The skate.
yeah. So that made it 1-1. Obviously, there's not a whole too much to talk about here. Be honest. I mean, you had two hella dudes penalties. You had the Donato goal. Sanford takes a goaltender interference call, which I thought was shaky at best.
Yeah.
Which eventually led to the shorthanded goal. Curtis Gabriel, I guess, pissed off Wes McCauley with apparently not liking potatoes, so he gets a misconduct. And the overtime. Is it me, Al? Is it me or was it freaking you know that just seemed lazy, just didn't get any chances. Just I don't know. Where they thought they could win this game 1-0.
I mean, this kind of goes back to what I said before about just Blues had a major injury in the first period, and even though the Blues have lost their last 5, I think the Sharks kind of figured that their forward depth was kind of an issue, going to be a question mark going all the way through. So maybe just for the luck of it, that maybe you might get an easy win here, 1-0, maybe 2-0 with an empty net goal, but you know I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I think this is one of Timo Meyer's worst games this season, and potentially as a Shark, like turning over the puck in the neutral zone, costly penalties, and just he was just not like I didn't have a presence on the ice whatsoever.
And it's tough to take. I think he was one of the guys that was out there for over like a minute 40 because of icings or offsides or of all that. It's like uh, it's crazy. But let's get to some of the comments from the locker room here. The chances are deceiving. We gave up more than the usual, but we generated more than usual. That won't show up on the stat sheet. I thought we had a lot of opportunities. From Bob Bugner. Also, Bugner saying our PK was solid, but our power play didn't get the job done, and then we gave up the shorty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's about it.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
That's a wrap. Hit the credits.
Right, and we're done. No, if you missed anything, no. We won't do that. From Logan Couture, offensively, we're getting more chances from the slot. Defensively, we're tighter. I think we need more from the guys up top. I haven't scored in a while. Couture, kind of calling himself out, which,
I mean, he's been better. I think better as a captain this year compared to last year. I think there was a lot of growing pains with him, calling out his teammates and such. But, it's not really the defenseman's fault. It's really just the forward depth issue. I mean, this is. There's been 10 games in the month of March, and they've only won the face-off percentage 2 times. So, yeah.
And that's a big one. I mean, the face-offs were a huge factor in this game tonight because the Sharks couldn't do crap with the face-offs. I mean, St. Louis won it with 62% in the face-off circle, and even Randy and Hetty were talking about how rough some of these numbers were. Only Couture was over 50% in the face-off circle. Kane and Marlowe were even at 50. Gambrell struggling again in the face-off circle at 20%. Tomas Hertl, 24%. I mean, come on, guys. That's where some of those goals against Vegas early in the week cost them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's not many good stats for the Sharks today. I mean, frankly, this season, frankly, but um, like the Sharks had their chances in the second period, and that's the most frustrating part of this whole thing. Like, how many chances did the Sharks have that were, 3-on-1, 2-on-1, that they just didn't get a shot on net?
Right. And that's the thing. I think we saw like how was it? I had in my stat numbers here. 27 minutes in, there was like 11 shots on goal, and they had missed the net 14 times. Like missed shots 14 times. It's like, guys, you're making mental mistakes. You have three hella dudes penalties in 3 periods. You do the puck over glass. I mean, even Erik Karlsson had a lazy offsides call where I almost started to question whether or not he did it intentionally. You know, um, it's it's like what the heck. I mean, seriously, come on. Guys, you're halfway through the season. You're 8 points out of a playoff spot. You guys should have this fine tuned in there. You can't use you're trained in Arizona as an excuse. You can't say because of the 12 games in. You're 28 games into a season. I don't care if it's 82 or 56. Get your crap together. Like, seriously.
Hmm.
Face offs, fundamentals. Too many men on the ice penalties. Something that should rarely happen, and you've had it happen 3 times in the last 3 periods, and thankfully only one time did a back off, you know, and Adrian Serta saying they look tired, you know,
Yeah. Like, not to hammer the face-off point, but the Sharks have only won face-off percentage 7 times all season. All season. Um, and I'm not gonna blame this on the defenseman because, like, what are you supposed to do
right,
when you're already at disadvantage every single face-off? Like the hallmark of the Sharks for such a long time was, they had the center depth, they were going to control the ice and the play, but that is just not happening. And I feel really bad for EK because, like, most of his game is speeding up the ice and trading offensive, advantages, but like you can't really do that when you don't have the puck.
yeah, and that's the other thing too. They're not generating any penalties or any power plays, and you get two tonight, and you had that one game where you had uh, the one penalty with 25 seconds left against Vegas. Like, well, good for you. Way to give us a pity penalty call. Like, shut the hell up, and 20 they have to win 20 games out of the next 30, and they only have 28 left to get in the playoffs. I mean, they're going on a serious run here, but I mean, it's going to
I
be a
mean,
daunting task, and you lost a key game to a key opponent tonight.
I mean, even I, like, as someone who really does love the Sharks, like, you can make the argument the next 13 games when they're playing Los Angeles about 5 times, they're playing the Ducks 4 times, Arizona twice, and they're playing Minnesota twice. Like, that lineup, that schedule, you could go on a run of sorts, but like, I don't trust this team at all, and that's something I've never really said. Like, maybe well, last year kind of, but like this is like the team. This is the year where I've kind of fully, like, I don't trust this team. I'm hopefully just gonna hope the young guys develop into, you know decent players for the future.
Yeah, you can only hope so much, but I mean, you just playoffs are kind of out the window. you know, I mean, you kind of kiss that goodbye, and I get that there's still some hope in there, but you know, you get you gotta find some some sort of improvement from last year. I mean, it's just it can be infuriating. You know, the kids are getting more of a chances, which is good, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I mean, you can't do the same. You can't change players up and then get the same results. You have to get something improvement, and you can't put this one on Martin Jones. I thought he had a pretty good night tonight. Unfortunately, Tarasenko, beats him late in the shootout, and he's been dynamite in the shootout as of late, and just didn't turn out the case.
Yeah. I mean, this was his first game in about a week.
Mhm.
And I thought he was fresh, he was decent. Um, but this is one game you would think that like Jones would have had like build some momentum going into a stretch where you need to have win about 80% of your games. So
Yeah.
yeah.
From Erik Carlson, we've been playing better hockey lately. It makes us tough to play against. It's unfortunate we can't find ways to win. Honestly, it's not ways to win. Guys. It's more like getting on the team early, sustaining that lead, which you couldn't do early on this season. I mean, Al, I don't know how many times we came on where the Sharks lost in like overtime or a shootout,
Yeah.
or they won in overtime and gave away a point. That's the problem here. You get that, or you have these dumb mental mistakes, and they've been doing them the last three games. And honestly, this team should have five more points than they have. And you know,
They have improved in the second period this season, and especially this month. I
true.
mean, um, before they would just blow like leads in the second period like nothing, but you know, they've held on and increased their leads most times in the second period. It's just now that's kind of drifted into the third period.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think the real death nail wasn't today, was on Wednesday versus Vegas when they gave up that 3-1 lead. And you know, that's kind of I thought it was a great effort by the guys on Wednesday, but like I think everyone is really, really tired and just they cannot match up against any playoff team right now.
But why are they tired though? I mean, 10. They had 10 months off between COVID and everything. Yes, I get the
Yeah.
training was tough to not do, especially with all the restrictions in Santa Clara County, um, and with everything in Arizona. You know, I mean, come on, like seriously. I mean, there, there's one part of me that says, okay, I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, the second part of me is like, they're freaking professional athletes who are at top notch shape. They can kick their ass, and get going with their game. Yes, I know it's different between getting in game competition between going 60 to 70% at practice. Uh, but I mean, shoot, I think I expected a lot better from this team. Uh,
I after last year kept things pretty low in terms of expectations because I had some severe questions about the forward depth. And no matter what, like I really did see like a big shift from, the 2000s being mostly defensive led to now being more forward based. And I think the Sharks just really gambled on the wrong player. Like that's and that's nothing to do about EK. It's really about Doug. And we can go back time and time again about the trade and all that and what they gave up, but I think the Sharks just gambled and the league's, you know, along with COVID, really did hurt the Sharks in a significant way.
it's tough, and you needed those points, but at the same time, they could have gotten prepared a little bit better. Martin Jones on the night, 33 saves, 34 shots, 971 save percentage. Overall, a pretty solid night for Jones, who gets in who gets a good game in, as you said, week off. Good to see
Yeah.
overall. You know, congratulations to Matt Nieto, the Long Beach native, playing in his 500th NHL game. He joins San Francisco-born Brooks Orpik, Oakland native. Crap, I'm blanking on the guy's first name. Norwood. He was from Oakland. So Matt Nieto, Long Beach native. Congrats on 500 games. I say about this because Nieto's kind of been in trade talks. Obviously, the one that's kind of the shining right now is Devin Dubnyk. There's some that say that he was willing to move his 10-team no trade clause. I mean,
I'm not too sure you can make a trade. That's the thing. Just either because of salary cap and also because of quarantine rules, unless the NHL kind of pauses for a day or two to get all the players vaccinated. I just don't think you're going to see a lot of trade momentum this year. And I even if Dubnyk gives up his no trade, allows him to get traded every team, I don't think anyone's going to take his contract. And that's just the bet the Sharks made when they made that deal with Minnesota.
well, I mean, the good thing is that you can maybe get some salary retained, and maybe that ups the potential pick that you get in return. I mean, that would be nice to see if that's the case. Matt Nieto, I know we've talked about. I don't know if there's too many others outside those two that will garner any interest to the playoff teams. Speaking of trades that happened, Ryan Donato getting his first goal in 21 games, and he says tonight, like I would if I was on a schneid, it was very relieving. Fortunately, that one snuck through.
I mean, it was kind of a relief because the Sharks gave. I mean, they didn't even have a shot on goal when they had 3 or 4, 1-on-3, 1-on-2 opportunities, and I mean there was one point when there was a 1-on-3 and Vlasic gets the puck to shoot.
Yeah,
of all people.
Yeah, not sure if that's the one you want to go with the shoot. But yeah, like I mentioned, overpassing a bunch tonight. You mentioned the 3-on-1, and it's like, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't get it. But it is what it is. The Sharks will lose this one 2-1 in the shootout. They pick up a point. That's always good. However, they give up to a team that they're fighting to, move up in the standings. And, everybody will say, they're fighting tooth and nail till the very end. Looking at the standings right now, they sit currently, 9 points now out of a playoff spot, and that's where they aren't gonna win. You're not gonna win. Give us something to cheer for. And at this point,
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of blasé, and you expect Carlson to be better. You expect Hurdle to come in. Couture called himself out. Who knows what's going on in the locker room, because it's just a frustration. And we keep seeing in the chat, Anthony Morris, Vlasic's contract's the worst value at the moment. Burns isn't great. How about that Jones contract? Carlson's getting targeted for GM's poor cap management. Worst value contracts, Jones or Vlasic, Jones, and a tie for Carlson, Burns. I don't think that's that. I think it's not the price. I think it's more so going to be the years on these years.
Yeah, especially Vlasic. Jones, I can deal with if they decide not to even buy him out during the offseason. I think you can still write him out. I know for a lot of people that's sickening, but like, the Sharks are just not done well in front of him. Like the defense has not been great all year, including last year. Um, Carlson, yeah, it's 11.5 for the next 7 years.
Yeah.
Pretty inexcusable. And we laughed at that Drew Doughty contract thinking that would never be something we have to deal with. And oh boy.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's like a way out, like a quick solution to all of this. Like, I think you're just gonna have to deal with small increments. People like Nieto coming in looking for a bridge deal to hopefully get a bigger contract next year.
Or get a better place to go to next year. Shine a little bit more.
Yeah.
If anything. So, and it's like, come on, that's kind of the most infuriating thing. Is like, geez, guys, better. You can be better. Like Ao. By the way, good to see you, Ao, in the chat again. Is anyone performing to your expectations right now except maybe Kane and everything that's going on with Kane? Kudos to him, but Hurdle, doing okay. You called out Meyer for a rough game, here and there, and who knows if he's still 100% or not, or after an injury the last couple of nights, so.
Nieto's been decent, but like the expectations for him going in were so low that what we've gotten from him has been pretty decent. But like, Bank has been pretty decent. I've called him out a couple of times, but like, I'll steal this from AJ, but like if you take his point total and branch it out for what it would be an 82 game season, it would be what his contract value is. So like, I see someone who's actually kind of performing and getting better over time. But yeah, like it's really just been like, the Sharks really need to improve their forward depth and their size in particular, because Vegas and St. Louis are huge lineups. And, when you look at the face-up percentage and the puck possession, that's kind of just the story of the year.
Right. And you look at Patrick Marleau. I mean, yes, Bugner has had him on the third and fourth line. I think it's safe to say that he won't be a target at the trade deadline. But, you go from 11 goals to just one on the year. I love Patty. I can't wait for him to break the record. But to have him on with Curtis Gabriel, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, where are you honestly going to put him? And honestly, out of the lineup isn't an option, So it's like a catch-22 of sorts. But Patty, where are you? Tomas Hurdle, come on, let's get some love. And LeBanc, you've been hot and cold. It's like you got called out by your coach. You were benched in the third period of a game. Then you come back with some nice goals, but then you take two bad penalties in Vegas. It's like hot and cold. We're like a freaking Katy Perry song, for crying out loud. And love.
We need some fireworks,
right? I mean, I'm trying to find a parody for "I Kissed a Girl" and it's not coming to me right now. So oh man.
For Doug, it's "I Kissed a Defenseman" and I liked it.
Yes, he did. Just leaving that there. We are at 39 viewers, so we want to thank each and every one of you. If we're let's get those likes going, people. Let's get to 20. And of course the Venmo donation for your favorite segment. There we go. We're at 40 people watching. Let's get to 20. Come on, gang. Let's make this happen. I know it's been a struggle and a frustrating night. Struggle for me to make words, for that matter. A struggle for the Sharks to to mount anything going. You know, you know, Dave Taylor asking where did Nason disappear to? Not not the answer, but going on last season, at least consider an option. Yeah, I mean Nason's with the Kuhre right now, and that's where he's been getting most of his playing time lately. Kind of a surprise because considering how I know myself and Hockey Jerk loved Nason, uh, after last season, and I don't know what's happened since. I don't know if Pugner just isn't a fan of his or whatnot.
Yeah, I'll leave that to those guys, and I don't really follow the Barracuda too much, but
Paging
if
Kevin Lacey
yeah, I'm like if Lacey and Ian and
on a Peloton,
Puck,
preferably.
yeah, come through, but like if Barracuda is a better place for him to get ice time, and frankly, if there's a better support structure and the morale system there is a little bit better than what there currently is in the Sharks, then I think that's probably the better spot for him. That's just speaking for me, who is not really, you know, doesn't really follow the Barracuda that closely.
Right. J95. I've always thought that the Sharks would be in a totally different place had they been able to sign JT 3 years ago, and I would mean John Tavares. Yes, but then we literally have no cap space left. At this point. But I think you'd have more desire of players to come play here, and more playmaking that you're having Couture, Tavares, and Hurdle as your centers, or you put Hurdle on the wing to really get your top six bunched up.
If I remember right, JT's contract is what, 9 or 10 million?
I believe so, and the Sharks had offered him 13 to come
13.
in. So, I mean,
I
obviously,
think,
Erik Karlsson
yeah,
wouldn't be here if Tavares
yeah.
is.
Yeah, I think 13 would have been pretty steep for any player. I like John Tavares a lot, but at 13, I don't think you can even build a team around that. And we're even having that same issue with EK's 11.5. So, um, yep. Yeah.
And AJ making a good point. No need to have Nason up when he likely won't be on the team next season. His spot is better used to see what guys like Shemolevsky, Handemark, and etc. can do for you. And we've seen a lot of those. We've seen Joachim Blickfield, Shemolevsky. I mean, Ivan Chikovic just finished his season in the KHL. Who knows if he gets a jump up? So we'll see. Tavares is 11 million with Toronto. So
Rob Iman saying Hasso instilled a bad culture in San Jose.
How?
I don't necessarily agree with that one bit. I mean, I think the thing is that as soon as Pavelski left, the leadership went to Couture, and it's been a huge learning process, I think, personally, for him. And I don't think he's done a really great job. I don't think he's been a great captain. And, coincidentally, I think as soon as Pavelski left and the record is what it is right now, like, that's just kind of how I see it.
Yeah, and you're not the only one that's kind of talked about Couture's leadership. I think it's different compared to Pavs. I think it's different compared to Joe, and definitely different to Patty's. But you look at the guys who have A's on this team. So you have Couture, and you have, I think, 4 unique individuals. Carlson, Patty, Hurdle, Bernsey. So you all kind of have a different mesh, and it's all about coming together. So that's the critical one there, folks. Is coming together and having the perseverance to get through a third period and not have a freaking hella dudes penalty or just poop the power play and give them a chance to score shorthanded, because that changed the game, and the laziness comes back to haunt them big time. But it's not like you're going to have Couture get his captaincy stripped, because who are you going to give it to? Carlson? I think that would be, everybody would have a conniption
The
over it.
fan base would erupt about that.
And honestly, at the rate that EK's comments have been coming out, I wonder when fans do return, what the reaction will be with Carlson, either next season or really late in the year, this year, which I'm starting to wonder if that's even going to happen. So
Yeah.
we have.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Brody and Hannon were doing their pregame and postgame at the rink, so maybe you might see some fans in attendance, but very small percentage late May. But you're tough. Yeah, you're right on.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to see. Even contemplating going down to Vegas to see Patty tie the record would be nice too, especially if it's getting up to 9,000. And I have both vaccinations, so we'll see for that. AJ, tell me if we have a Venmo donation. I know Jerk has already said, and Laurel's gone, so cancel the reach around. It would be a wraparound, if anything. In the meantime, yeah, and Jerk, you're right there too. Santa Clara County's restrictions are too strict to allow fans. Sorensen had to quarantine 10 days, even though his positive test was a false positive.
That's another issue.
Later in May, not late May, is what I should have said. Thank you.
I said yeah.
So I don't see anything. Unfortunately, if there's no donation, we don't reach around. But you know what we will do in the meantime, though, bud? I think at this point, and with the Sharks loss, they have a 6% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick, until they changed it on us. So let's try to do this here. All right, folks. Let's see. Let's make this happen. And we get the Sharks going down a bit to looks like it was 9th. So, oh boy. Yay. Of course. And of course Seattle will get the number 1 pick. So, oh well, it is what it is, folks. And guess what? We get to do this tomorrow. Yay! Sharks and Blues back at it again, same time, 6 p.m. on Saturday. Landy will be here to take you the way home. Hopefully, celebrating a Sharks victory would be nice for that. So, well, Al, it's been fun talking about the team being 9 points out of a playoff spot.
Yay! We are competent at sucking.
That's just way too much enthusiasm there for that,
Yeah.
Oh man. So with that, in case you missed anything, or you want to watch this again, I forgot to hit this one. Check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. I mean, come on. There you go. Spotify, you name it. That's the one I've been looking for. So
it works.
It works. Austin Lynch, one of our Blues fans that follows us, we appreciate it big time. I went to a Blues game in person. They pumped in the crowd noise in the arena, and it was the weirdest thing ever. I thought they just did it through the TV. Yeah, no, it's.
Gotta hand it to him.
Yeah, Jerk, I'm not allowed to say that per my agreement, along with the. Oh, John.
John, what are you
What are
doing?
you doing? Boy, oh boy. You just made Jerk mad. I don't know who Puckeye 16 is, but, I feel triggered by it. So,
Do we have to do it?
uh,
Need to give the people what they want?
do we give the people what we want? I will make this really quick. It didn't help the Sharks tonight. But John, appreciate the support big time. Really quick before we get out of here, Capitals beat the Rangers 2-1. They used up all their offense the other day. Vancouver beats Montreal in overtime. Uh, wait, is that? Yeah, that's right. JT Miller in overtime again. Big time. The Leafs lose again. Holy crap! Are you serious? Daryl Sutter. Daryl Sutter is on a roll all of a sudden. The Leafs now, man.
Or Steve Dangle.
Oh, I got dance for the dollar. Wow. Okay, jerk. There you go. And actually, I you know what? One sec. I've had the wrong shirt on. Oh, and by the way, the Golden Knights beat the Kings 4-2. There you go.
My God.
He prefers his full name, Jiller Tiller Miller. All right, and Austin Lynch, yep. Let me get this out of the way, and you can send it to LGB Radio on Twitter. One sec. Al, vent for me before we get out of here.
Yeah, thank you all for watching. Yeah, this is a tough year, tough game. There's really not much I can really say that's positive about the Sharks right now, but oh my God, you're really doing that. But for the most part, I would say just take it game at a time, keep your expectations low, and you'll be able to just enjoy the hockey at play because this is still the best sport the best sport I like watching. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. All right, there you go. You see the jersey on me. I lost the bet to Let's Go Blues Radio. I'm wearing this big old freaking thing. So there you go. All right, we'll be back with you tomorrow. Oh, really? Tomorrow's morning skate is optional? I don't know about that. We'll be back. I mean, I know for sure that's what they're saying, but I'm saying maybe they should skate a little bit to get their legs going. We'll be back with you. I'm not going to give you a stand up and twirl. Oh, jeez, really, really. Okay.
John, what are you doing?
There you go. What? Never mind, AJ. Never
Oh
mind for
my.
AJ and Shirk to do it. A little late there, buddy. All right, the conversation, or should I say the chomversation, continues on Discord right now. We appreciate each and every one of you, as always, for giving us the support and the love. We'll be back with you tomorrow following Sharks and Blues. That's a 6 p.m. start. Landy will be here with, I'm not sure, whatever, whoever he has. I hope he has somebody because it would be nice. But until then, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Al, thank you as always. You can find him at Al Martinet. You can find me at Puckguy14. We will see you on the Discord in a little bit. Have a great night, everyone.